today because it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And I believe we made the wrong choices in how we responded. We responded, as Barbara Lee said, who was the only congressperson voting against the authorization of military force. She said, let us not become the evil we deplore.
My name is Malachi Kilbride, and I came to Madison from Baltimore, Maryland, just a few days ago, and I'm here for this event today. I'm here because Senator Baldwin is not just a senator from Wisconsin. She's in the leadership in Congress, and she has been involved with policy making for many years in the Senate and also in the House of Representatives. And, you know, we're just pulling out of Afghanistan now after 20 years. It's been a complete debacle, a failure. The people are no better off. And here in the United States, we're no better off either. We've spent trillions of dollars that could be used for all kinds of human needs and human uplift. Instead, we've squandered it on this war machine that is rampaging around the world. People and corporations are profiting off of these wars, and it's not sustainable. We have to bring this way of living to an end and create a new way of living for all of us, in which we all enjoy the bounty that this world provides.
My name is Joy First, and I'm a member of the Wisconsin Coalition to Ground the Drones and End the Wars. We organized this mobilization against militarism for the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
It is.
And we've had these for years going on all this time, and we've got a senator that is continuing to promote policies to continue these wars.
We're right here in front of Senator Tammy Baldwin's office, and Tammy Baldwin is someone who continues to promote the militarism, promote the wars, and we need that to stop. And we're here today to tell Tammy Baldwin we want that to stop. We want her to stop voting for all that military money for the promoting the F-35s and everything that she's doing to continue this military state that we currently have. Next up is Alan Ruff, and Alan is a U.S. historian and a longtime Madison anti-war activist and critic of U.S. interventionism in all its forms. He was one of the initial members of the Madison Area Peace Coalition that formed 20 years ago in the wake of September 11th as the U.S. military machine geared up to invade Afghanistan. So here's Alan.
I do want to say initially that what occurred on September 11, 2001 did not fall from the sky, did not come out of the blue. History did not begin with that moment. As a matter of fact, the only way that we can understand, get a handle on what we're still involved in, meaning we, the United States, is to understand that this thing did not start 20 years ago, but started in the middle of World War II, if not further back. Why do I say that? Because while the U.S. was at war, policy planners, strategic thinkers were sitting in Washington saying, we're going to win this war. And what do we have to do? We're going to come out the strongest global power, and what do we have to do? And one of the things they said then, and has continued to be a refrain since, is that we must control the greater Middle East. And what they were talking about, imagine this, was everything from Morocco on the Atlantic to Pakistan, across North Africa, through the entire Middle East, to Afghanistan and Pakistan. That has to be the context for any beginning to understand what this has been about. If we don't know at least some of that history, and I'll give a quick abbreviation here, then we're screwed.
Yes.
We're screwed. Right? The simple fact that we have a relatively small group here, and I'm happy with the turnout, but when you look in contrast to what's going on across the street, understand that that's in part due to the systematic erasure of our memory, our past.
Yep.
Denied, buried, obfuscated, rewritten. The war in Afghanistan and what came subsequently was based upon a Ponzi scheme of lies. And they continue every day, and we have to prepare ourselves individually and collectively to say, the hell with this. The hell with this. It's murderous, it's fraudulent, it's criminal. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Right on.
Thank you, Alan.
Hi, my name is Bob Groff. I've been a long-time activist, part of the Milwaukee 14 back in 68, 69, burning draft files. And I here today because continuing that spirit, we must stand up to what we believe is right and just. That this military spending that Senator Baldwin represents is not sustainable. It's hurting us in our economy and hurting a lot of people around the world and killing people. The arms industry is the only profiteer of this whole business, and they are dwelling on it, and they support people like Senator Baldwin.
So there are a number of us then that are feeling moved to engage in an action of nonviolent civil resistance. And since Tammy isn't here to answer our demands, we feel like we need to be vigiling outside her office 24/7 until she meets our demands. So we've got a couple of tents here and about 7 or 8 people who are going to be joining, and we're going to be setting the tents up right over here. And I do have nonviolence guidelines. It's really important for anybody who joins us in this to agree to these nonviolence guidelines. And I'll pass these out to anybody who's going to be risking arrest. I just have a quote that I want to read from Daniel Berrigan, one of my great teachers and a cohort of Bob's, who was in Cantsville doing the same thing that Bob was doing here in Milwaukee in 1968. Daniel Berrigan is one of the famous Berrigan brothers from the 60s. So he said, "We have assumed the name of peacemaker, but we have been by and large unwilling to pay any significant price. And because we want peace with half a heart and half a life and will, the war of course continues, because the waging of war by its nature is total, but the waging of peace by our own cowardice is partial. We cry peace, and there is not peace. There is no peace because the making of peace is at least as costly as the making of war, at least as exigent, at least as disruptive, at least as liable to bring disgrace, prison, and death in its wake." And so it's important for all of us to do a lot more as we work for peace. And one of the things that's important, I think, is to if Tammy Baldwin wants our vote the next time she's up for election, she needs to start following policies that will lead to a peaceful world.